Hey folks, my name's Ed Trevors. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I'm an Anglican priest serving in the beautiful parish of St. Margaret of Scotland that sits on the ancestral and on the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Gwe. I don't know if I've mentioned this to you, but I'm currently reading a biography of a woman by the name of Dorothy Day. Now, Dorothy Day was an American Roman Catholic who did some incredible work in her lifetime. She began her ministry, and I'm going to say she began her church, because what she did was nothing less than create a church. But she began her work in the middle of the Great Depression. And she was an author. She helped start a newspaper called The Catholic Worker. Through that newspaper, she hired a bunch of people she couldn't afford to hire. She fed a bunch of people she couldn't afford to feed. She housed a bunch of people she couldn't afford to house. Through the Catholic Worker and through Dorothy's initiatives and her speaking engagements, they bought properties, they bought farms, they grew their own food. They provided people with a sense of purpose, with a sense of mission, with opportunities to express themselves, and just phenomenal work this person did. And I think I'm only on like chapter 8. The thing I love about the book so far is that the author, who is her granddaughter, I believe, is incredibly honest. Despite the fact of holding this woman up that she's some kind of saint, also lets us know that she was broken too, that there were times where she was just a hot mess, that she didn't always do the right things, that she didn't always do maybe as she should, that there was a cost. There was a cost to her and to her family for her ministry, for this mission. Anyway, the chapter that I just finished, the author describes a retreat that Dorothy was in love with. A retreat that Dorothy would go to on a regular basis, that she would encourage all of her friends to go to, that she encouraged all of her co-workers and her co-conspirators at the Catholic Worker to go to. This retreat for Dorothy was incredibly important. You see, she was somebody she came to her faith in her 20s through the Roman Catholic Church, but she had a deep hunger, a deep thirst for God. She desperately wanted to grow closer to God. And she felt like this retreat that she was a part of, that she had helped to organize, and that she supported, and that she attended on a regular basis, she believed that this retreat was wonderful. It was a wonderful tool to help people grow closer to God. And for some, they saw it the same way. But for others, they saw this retreat as a really harmful thing, a hate-filled thing. Now, it wasn't about hating other people. It was about hating self, loathing themselves. You should hate your decisions. You should hate your choices. You should hate your lifestyle. You should hate your comforts. The idea was to inflict the comfortable, to make people hate themselves, to make people despise themselves, to make people hate their ways in order to accept the salvation of Jesus Christ. To let go of all that to hate themselves so much that they are willing to let go of everything that they have and everything that they are in order to fully embrace what Jesus is offering. One of her friends, however, Aid, is quoted in the book. She didn't like these retreats. She was against these retreats. And she thought them to be harmful. She thought them to be destructive. She recognized that not only were they afflicting the comfortable, they were afflicting the already afflicted. These retreats had a way of re-traumatizing people, of injuring them in a way that they weren't going to be easily healed. Injuring them, affecting them in a way that just was not healthy, that was not valuable. She's quoted as saying, "No amount of hatred can produce the love of God." And she's right. Hatred has a way of convincing us that it is justified. I hate this. I hate that person. I hate those people. I hate that thing. I hate that way. I hate that decision. I hate that choice. I hate that lifestyle. I hate that whatever. And it's okay to hate those things. It is good to hate those things. By hating those things, I will work diligently to correct those things. I will work diligently to destroy those things. I will work diligently against those things. And hate comes with this energy. Hate comes with this energy that makes us feel like we can destroy those things. We can remove those things from our lives, if not from our societies, our communities. Hate makes us believe that hate makes us believe that it comes with an energy that we can work against and defeat the object of our hate. But hate's a virus. It's like a yeast. It's not happy staying in place. It's not happy as it is. It wants to grow. It wants to multiply. It wants to become a part of every aspect of our life. And because of that energy that it comes with, because of that sense of righteousness, that it is okay to hate this thing because everybody should hate this thing, we become more and more willing to let it seep in to all these other places, these other aspects of our lives. It infiltrates everything. The truth is, at the end, it ends up eating us. It ends up devouring all that is good and right about us. Even though it feels like the right thing, even though for Dorothy the retreats felt like the right thing, they were incredibly damaging to many people. They left people shattered. They left people damaged. Right? These things still happen today. There are religious retreats out there that leave people feeling this way today. There are teachers out there who are using hate to build up an energy within their congregations that it really, in the end, is only going to cause damage. There are pastors who turn to hate. There are priests who turn to hate. There are good, loving, wonderful people who are allowing hate to come in as a fuel for their work, as a guiding light for their path forward in life. But hate is not ever going to be satisfied being our servant. Hate's never satisfied until it's the master. The only way to bring about real change, substantive, lasting change, is through love. Love requires us to be much more vulnerable. It requires us to put ourselves on the line in ways that hate would never ask us to put ourselves on the line. But love is the only way forward. Even though hate may convince us that it is justified. And perhaps it even is. Love is the only thing. Love is the only tool that we need in our belt. Love, no matter the situation, is always appropriate. That isn't to say that love looks the same, in every situation. But it is the only thing we need, and it is the only thing we can trust. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord's face be made to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord's countenance be lifted up to you. May you always know the peace of being in the Lord's presence. And I pray that you and I would always follow the light of love. We don't have to like things. But hate serves no purpose. Follow the love. Do the loving thing. Even when you're fuming, find a way of being loving. Find a way of acting in a loving fashion. Find a way, find a place, find an opportunity to speak words of love. Reject hate. Be a light. Amen. Numultus.